had to do with a new drug. And I thought, look, this is very important to talk about what is currently going down, in the world. Now, once upon a time, it was said that Nigeria, had one of the highest maternal mortality rates, the numbers were very, very high. Okay. So first of all, maternal mortality refers to the death of a woman while pregnant or within 42 days or of termination of pregnancy, regardless of the duration or site of the pregnancy, from any cause that relates to or aggravated by the pregnancy or its management or the management of such pregnancy, excluding accidental or incidental causes. So when she has anything outside of the pregnancy, maybe that is not counted for. But anything relating with the pregnancy, whether it's a condition that arises or, something that starts happening and is connected to the pregnancy, of course, that's what you call maternal mortality. And one of the key factors or the leading causes in most instances when you carry out any sort of research to look at causes of maternal mortality, that is women dying as a result of any condition that arises during their pregnancy, you find out that one of the things mentioned is this hemorrhage, right? Anemia that they get to develop, and sometimes what they call, is it eclampsia? I apologize if I'm not calling that right, but different conditions do arise as a result of probably lack of proper medical care or one thing or the other. Okay. Now, getting in this conversation, of course, I've warned you guys, I'm not a medical personnel, but this show is actually open to medical doctors and medical personnel to also share their own experiences in the field, as it relates to women dying. When it comes to issues of pregnancy, like we got it, the death of a woman while pregnant or within 42 days of termination of the pregnancy, regardless of the duration, from any cause related to or aggravated by the pregnancy. So conditions like hemorrhage, most especially when a woman gives birth, you get to see a woman bleeding excessively and then leading to the loss of blood. In many instances, that is often pointed to as one of the causes of women having to die, apart from other conditions too also that relate to the pregnancy that get to develop. And if it is not tackled well enough, of course, you get to see a situation where women die. And that is, for me, one of the saddest realities that we have to face, because at the end of the day, like I keep saying, I feel a woman has no business dying because she wants to give life. If anything, the government, any society owes it to the woman and owes it to our future generations to preserve the lives of women who are life givers, right? They should be protected and preserved so that these things are studied, the causes and also the treatment or prevention of them all together. So, a group of people came together, a group of gynecologists and all of that, not the gynecologists themselves, but, institutions that are really concerned about maternal mortality and having carried out some scientific research here and there to prove, because naturally medicines are not just thrown into society and the usage cannot just be adopted until it is scientifically proven that this is suitable for whatever condition it is that the medicine is coming up for or the drug is coming to treat. Okay, in Nigeria we call it drug. Or when you go to other countries and you go and say drug, I mean, people begin to go at you, so what is this person talking about? So yeah, this particular medicine is aimed at treating what you call the anemia. Like I said, some institutions have carried out the tests, scientific research to see the suitability and also if there are any effects whatsoever. And having attended that, I took the time to talk to the president of, the Gynecologist Association. They call the body SOGON, right? And we discussed about, this new drug and what is it all about. So I wanted for you to listen to our conversation with him, and then afterwards you would share your thoughts with me on, ways that we can better handle issues of maternal mortality. I will be taking that interview after these messages. Please don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
Workshop that was organized by the Society of Gynecologists of Nigeria, SOGON, and that was done in collaboration with the International Federation of Obstetrics and Gynecology, whereby this new drug that is in the process of being developed and also, being pushed out there. I mean, pending, of course, the updating of these guidelines on the medicines that the gynecologist would recommend, because they have to do so, right? For the treatment of what you call anemia in pregnant women, whether it is moderate or severe, which is pointed as one of the leading causes of death. So I had a talk with the president of the Society of Gynecologists in Nigeria. It was quite revealing, and he said a lot of things in that very conversation we had, and I'm trying to get that out so that you can just listen to the conversation we had, so we can also have your own thoughts on this one. So let's see if I'm able to get that across and let you listen.
You're welcome, Professor Okechukwu Ibezi. I'm a professor of gynecology and obstetrics, and I'm the president of the Society of Gynecology and Obstetrics of Nigeria, commonly called SOGON. SOGON is an old organization, started in 1965, and unites all gynecologists in Nigeria. And we're the voice of women's health. So that's why we're here today, discussing a drug that is new in Nigeria, that is used to treat women with shortage of blood during pregnancy, what we call anemia in pregnancy. This drug is called FCM and is given intravenously through the vein. And it's given only once, and it cures the anemia. So the woman can continue with her pregnancy, and after delivery to carry her for some time. So that is a big advantage. There are similar drugs used in the past, but this is a new invention that is better than the previous drugs. So it has been tested and proved to be effective, proved to be safe and acceptable. So that's why we're adopting it as a society to try to move it into use for authority from federal government, from NAFDAC, from essential medicine list, so that it will be acceptable and state governments can procure it and distribute to their health centers.
Okay, so what would this test, you talked about it being tested and approved, where, tell us about that.
Yes, of course it's not made in Nigeria.
Okay.
The drug has been introduced worldwide, but new in Nigeria. So for context, it was tested by University of Lagos. They have a center for research where they test this sort of implementation research. So it's called Citrus. And they have used this drug in Lagos, in Kaduna, and in Kano, and over a wide area. over several thousand women, and it was found to be effective. It's also nobody died. It didn't cause any serious complication on anybody. So that is why. So that's the scientific evidence. That testing has been published in big international journal. So worldwide everybody knows about it. WHO knows about it. Okay? So that is the scientific basis on which we are standing to now advocate that we start using it. Of course, they that did the study are just a university research unit funded with international grants. So they did a big study, fantastic work. The people who did it are our members in Lagos. They are gynecologists, professors there. So they, in collaboration with many others in our society. So it is a robust study. So we are happy with the results. That is why we are buying into it. Remember, we don't manufacture the drug. We have no stake. If it's acceptable, the pharmaceutical industry will either manufacture it in Nigeria or import it and distribute and take their profit. Our own aim is to make sure it gets to the women that need it.
So, sir, I want to know if you're in partnership with the federal government, one, and generally, do you think the federal government is doing enough in terms of women challenges in this pandemic, and what do you prefer, sir?
We are in partnership with government, not just federal government, state government, because like I said, we are the voice of women's health in Nigeria. We have opinions that we communicate to the government, to the Minister of Health. We write position paper, like this anemia in pregnancy. Sogon has a position paper on it, which we distributed. We give to the minister, he's working with it. And we have guidelines which we share with them at the ministry. So this particular minister is very much interested in women's health. So the federal government is doing something. They have many other agencies. They have what we call Swat, where they put in all the money they have for this sort of thing. They have the one they call MAMI, which is an organization set up to reduce incidence of women dying during pregnancy and childbirth, to crash it down. We have a very high maternal mortality rate. So they set up the MAMI to tackle that. Okay, there are many other agencies that, like National Health Insurance Agency, that are trying to make things available on insurance basis so that people don't have to pay out of pocket for many things.
All right, so that was the short version of the interview I had there with Professor Ikpeze, who is the president of Sogon in Nigeria. And it's quite interesting, to see what the society is doing to support the bid to get this particular drug that treats anemia in women. And of course, anemia is a shortage of blood. I don't want to go into details because I don't have it all. But it's quite interesting, very interesting to see the push. I was reading some statistics, let me share that with you with regards to maternal mortality in Nigeria. And to tell you the need for government to also, get highly involved. Already, like Professor Ikpeze has said, the testing has been done in University of Lagos, and right now it is a bid, this is the push to get this to be approved at all levels, whether it is with the Society of Gynecologists in Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Health, and all the other agencies, NAFDAC, and the Essential Medicine List, all of that, to be pushed so that it will go a long way. Like I said, there are so many factors that point to the reason or some reasons leading causes of maternal mortality in Nigeria. But if we can get to that place where we can reduce it further, then why don't we do so? By all means, everyone's hand should be on deck to ensure that that becomes a reality, okay? So, to some of the data I got, I would want to share with you. It says that based on 2025 and early 2026 reports, maternal mortality in Nigeria has shown a significant, albeit uneven decline in health some health facilities. Of course, in some places it remains the same, but you also want to look at the fact that more can be done, right? Although the country still carries one of the highest burdens of maternal deaths globally, Nigeria is always pointed to as a country that holds that burden, which does not say good of us as a people. And so whatever it is, to get it to further abate and decline, I mean, we'll be all for it. And that's why this advocacy is on. You know, the 2025 State of the Health of the Nation report shows a notable drop, with facility-based deaths falling from about 904 in 2024 to 460 in 2025. And then also the Federal Ministry of Health data suggests a minus 25% reduction in facility deaths by late 2025, and preliminary 2023 to 2024 NDHS data reported in 2025 indicates a maternal mortality ratio of 512 per 100,000 live births, decreasing from prior 576 in 2018. Though some regional estimates remain higher. So you see, it's still a very high one, that we would have to lose over 512 women per 100,000. That is not good enough. So the development of a new drug to help tackle one of the leading causes, or one of the causes of death, maternal mortality in pregnant women, should be supported at every level, you know, whether it is at the level of the Society of Gynecologists or Gynecologists and Obstetric Society, and moving on to the Federal Ministry of Health and all the other national agencies or health agencies and institutions that we have in the country to support the push. And this drug, right, the name, you heard the professor, they are calling it, it's a very long one, but they call it the FCM, right? That is the ferric carboxymaltose, that is FCM in Nigeria. So basically, I don't know if you have your experiences to share. In what better ways you feel the federal government, you feel, societies like that of the gynecologists and other bodies, health bodies in Nigeria, Nigeria Medical Association and all, can push for better care, maternal care, for women who are pregnant and even after. Because pregnancy also comes with its own postpartum issues, right? Some women get hemorrhagic, some women just develop some different kind of conditions that lead to death. But of course, this one is trying to tackle the condition known as anemia, where you have shortage of blood and oxygen and all of those things, when you look at it. But in what ways do you think, whether it is at the medical bodies, right, or the federal government, and stakeholders, different stakeholders, because like you heard the president saying something about the research being sponsored by international bodies. Now, several times we take a look across Nigeria and you wonder how many medical research institutes do we have? What sort of breakthroughs have we had in the medical or in medicine in Nigeria? Talking about local researchers and what do you call it now? Problems or diseases or conditions actually solved, breakthrough in medicine that will treat certain conditions, that will go ahead to improve the general health, indices for the national index for Nigeria as a country. It's not such a good thing, that we have that sort of negativity being pointed at us as a country, where we have over 500 women dying per 100,000 births. I feel that's a little too much, and so much more can be done, So you share your own ideas and thoughts, on ways that we feel we can collectively, as a people, as a people, even as at the government level, particularly with the Federal Ministry of Health now, giving all the necessary support and the passage of some of these drugs that would help in ensuring that the numbers of women who die as a result of whether pregnancy or postpartum pregnancy conditions that come up can actually be tackled. Okay? So, I mean, share your thoughts with me this afternoon. If you're a medical personnel, someone who understands these things, we'd love to hear your own take on, better ways of preventing or guarding against maternal mortality in Nigeria, which is a major issue. All right. So you can call me up on 080-9597-4869 and 080-999-30137. Share your thoughts with me this afternoon as we carry on with the conversation. It's a very short one. We'll just talk about around that before we take our break and also move on to other issues. But for this matter, as it relates to anemia, whether it's severe to moderate in pregnancy, and some of the breakthroughs that have been discovered, especially the push by Sogon to adopt this as a medicine for that. What do you think? Right, let's have this caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, madam.
You're welcome.
Please, I just want to ask, last month, I have one of my brothers that have a problem. They say they find the treatment of HIV. Please, where are we going? Which hospital?
I don't know about that, sir. I don't know about treatment for HIV. I don't know, really.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not even what we're discussing this afternoon. So, yeah. Hello?
Hello, Swat. Good morning.
Yes, good afternoon, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you. My name is Emmanuel Ochali
All right.
from Maraba.
Okay, go ahead.
Swat, the topic that you have brought forward and what I've heard from the prof is a very important thing to raise a concern for in Nigeria particularly. But this is my opinion, just as I keep wailing all the time. For you to address any problem, you must know the exact area of the problem. Go to the Ministry of Health. Now let us ask the Minister of Health how many women are pregnant in Nigeria today. I'm telling you, they don't know. How many children are delivered in Nigeria today? They don't know. How many children are died today in the course of delivery? They don't know. Any figure they give to you, they just a mere guessing. They don't know. They don't have idea of it. And for you to
I'm sorry, Mr. Emmanuel, I wouldn't agree with you. You know why? Because it depends on who reports to the hospital. The hospital take their data, but there are so many women who stay at home and don't go to the hospital. So there is no record of such kind of people. So how can the government know possibly? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Good. Madam, that's what you have come to me now. Why are the women afraid of hospital? It is because there is no money. The Nigerian
Hello?
to put these women into their NHIS, whereby you go and just take your treatment, do your delivery, and where is Nigeria as a country coming in between the hardship and the people? Where is subsidy? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I guess
in
you.
every other developed country, before they can tackle this kind of problem, the government must be in between the people.
Well, I understand what you're saying, though.
And the people. Now, in Nigeria today, some women, as I speak to you now, are under one code 3, delivering, giving birth to baby. They are under a 3, giving birth to a baby. How will the government know about those ones? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
These women, it's not as if they hate going to hospital. They love hospital, but they don't have what it takes to go to the hospital in a country that is blessed with abundant natural resources. So that is where I am going. That is where I say you have come to my point. That is the place to start from. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I think that's a very important point you're noting. And that's why we'll continue to advocate for better healthcare system in Nigeria. We cannot look the other way and pretend that everything is fine. There are hospitals in Nigeria, and even for those who are in the rural areas, you have primary healthcare centers. But in all sense of honesty, how many of them are in a condition or in that state where you have the necessary or basic medicines and all the necessary facilities that would aid and abet a woman, especially pregnant women, to be well taken care of, and they go in and come out alive. Some of them, they don't even have as basic things as Panadol. And even if they do not have the facility or the drugs that would treat especially women who come in with anemia or with preeclampsia or all the other conditions that come with the pregnancy itself, and that's why we need to hold government accountable. I've had to work with NGOs who have come to give us reports of some of the in-depth investigation that they carried out. And you don't even have to go to Kebbi State or you have to go to Ebonyi State. No, here in Abuja, in some primary healthcare facilities, honestly, you go there, you find that it is quite appalling because there was this one I saw that women or doctors were taking delivery and they were using torchlight, no basic things. So when a woman starts hemorrhaging or things take a different turn, then what happens? Sometimes before you're able to transport them from those primary healthcare to a secondary healthcare, some of them die in the process. And like you were saying, the NHIS, is like a big thing. Like you have to be in a certain class for you to have access to it. Naturally, in a country, everyone should be covered with that. Maybe not everybody would have the same sort of class in the NHIS, but at least everyone should have that. So I understand how there are some hospitals that are bound, they look very colorful, they look very big, but there are lots and lots of people who cannot afford basic healthcare in their country, and so we need to do so much more when it comes to that. Let's listen to this.
Okay, this road D once more airport road. Maternal mortality rates is quite sad. There was a research carried out some time ago, and it described the number of women who die in Nigeria each year like an aircraft where maybe about 300 people on a daily basis, on an aircraft, and it crashes. I think on a daily basis or weekly, if I recall. So it's painful that women who are created with the ability to give birth, to make life come into existence. God is the giver of life. But unfortunately, we who are created with natural ability to make a life possible, since God gives. So how does this life come to be? It's quite painful. I'm a survivor of preeclampsia, and yes, Nigeria is a religious country where, for any little thing we say, God, I beg, and comments like that. But the truth is, from what I've noticed, so much news, reports, research, observation, aside government, the governments are trying. I won't say they are not trying. It was good to hear the professor speak, and for him to say WHO is aware, even government, federal government, local government, state governments are aware of this medication. That shows that effort is being made. But on, grassroots level, streamline it to individuals, society, the family, people's view. It is rather sad that I have a friend who works with one of the Abuja hospitals, and she's quite exposed, studied in Ukraine. There was something she said that people's orientation, there are still families in Nigeria, sad to say, despite their level of education, who believe that their wives cannot go through CS. And so when complications come, pregnancy complication, some of these women are not even aware that they have complications. As simple as this book called Every Woman. I usually don't remember the name of the author. I remember reading that book. It was from that book I got to discover towards the last chapters that there is what is called pregnancy-induced hypertension. So let's begin to expose ourselves, awareness. If it means even in the education sector, they begin to, as in curriculum are being improved, let these matters be brought into the curriculum. Topics like home management and other science topics that will help, the younger ones to understand that some things just happen, and it's not by your cultural belief. What has to be, has to be. You have to take care of yourself, walk to the hospital and let them know, because the assistance is there. I'm speaking, here I am. I'm a survivor of preeclampsia. The body signs, and if a doctor tells you that, it tells a woman, you're going to have this baby through CS, because if it stays longer than that, it will turn out to be an issue. I think it's simple enough, but it's not that simple for some persons, because it will be like, God forbid, my wife, nobody in my family has given birth through operation. You hear operation, not even.
Okay. Indeed, that is some interesting perspective you're giving to us, Ruth, like being a survivor yourself of one of the many reasons, or one of the leading causes of maternal mortality, and that is the preeclampsia, and so we're saying, right, if there is a solution in the horizon, if there is this research that has been carried out by the university, recognized by World Health Organization, observations made that there isn't any effect, and it can actually douse down, or it can help to erase or bring down to a great extent one of the causes that makes women die, or could lead to the death of a pregnant woman, or even postpartum, the postpartum death that occurs sometimes, then why don't we give it a chance? Why don't we push for it? And so this is not advocating, not just for good governance, but that also our healthcare be given the attention it needs, right? And the government needs to collaborate with, whether it is a society of gynecologists, the universities, the NBAs of this world, as a Nigerian NMA, of this world, Nigerian Medical Association, and all. Just collaborate and see how this can be actually thoroughly researched, approved, updated in the medical guidelines, and also in the essential medical list, so as to ensure that less and less women die as a result of pregnancy, or whatever condition it is that arises in the course of giving birth to a life. A life does not have to be lost because another life has to come in. No. How about a world where we'll have both the mother alive, hale and hearty, and the baby alive, hale and hearty, so we can have a healthy population? But like many people have raised concerns about some of the prevailing things. Poverty is one of the things in Nigeria that stops people from going to hospital, accessing medical care, because they feel instead of going, we don't have all the thousands of naira that they're calling, would rather just use the traditional herbs that we have. After all, my mother was a herbalist, and we've been using this from generation, and nobody has gone to the hospital. And these are some of the prevailing mindsets you get to hear, where women just don't choose not to go. Not because they don't want to in the real sense of it, but when you think about going to a proper medical facility, it becomes really a Herculean task for women or their spouses to afford that. And so they resort to all sort of things that further causes a spike in terms of the women who get to die. So for me, what I'm saying, I think this is a worthy cause that the Society of Gynecologists, the federal government, and all the relevant agencies need to work together to ensure that this medicine that is being researched is properly updated, and also, put into the essential medicine list, so that women can have access. And then not only getting it into the updated guidelines, but also to ensure that it is affordable and accessible to all women from the rural to the urban areas, so as to make maternal mortality keep reducing until we eventually have victory. I mean, I don't know if there's any country in the world that exists where maternal mortality is totally eradicated, but you can have it to the barest minimal, so that we become a hub. We become a place where it is looked as a country where, well, the number of women who die as a result of giving birth is barely ever recorded, right? So that's my advocacy for today. I feel it's something we need to talk about, we need to push, and we need to ensure that we work together with all the relevant agencies, whether it's on the side of the government or the bodies responsible to make it a reality. We'll take a break, and then when we come back, we'll look at the international stories. Please don't go anywhere.
It's okay. That is okay. It's okay. No, it's okay. Let me explain. It's okay. It's okay. She. Off your mic.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info. Your mic.
More talk, news, and sports after this.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info. We are in a time where people yearn for information.
Information is quick. The larger the reach, the better.
Bits
Pieces.
and the whole. All the details right here on Nigeria Info.
With information comes power.
We give you more power with information. 95.1 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk. Did you know?
Did you know? Did you know?
Did you know? Your dose of facts we bet you never knew. Right here.
95.1 Nigeria Info.
Did you know about the accidental eponym? Ever wonder where certain words come from? Like, the word boycott? Turns out it's not some ancient secret society's code word, but the very real name of a real person. And get this, he probably hated being associated with it. Picture this. It's the 1870s in Ireland. Farmers are having a pretty rough time. Crops failing, rents sky high, and let's just say landlords weren't exactly known. Captain Charles Cunningham, English land agent. His job, collect those rents, and if folks couldn't pay, well, out on the street they went. Not exactly a popularity contest, right? Now, the Irish National Land League, a group fighting for fairer conditions, decided enough was enough. Instead of throwing punches, though let's be honest, that happened sometimes too, they came up with a cunning plan. They decided to make an example of Captain Boycott. How? By basically making him an island. His neighbors shunned him, his laborers joined the cause, and local shops refused to sell him so much as a loaf of bread. Imagine being so unpopular that even your groceries go on strike. Poor Captain Boycott was essentially stuck with his family and a handful of very loyal, probably very tired staff. He was in a pickle so thick you could spread it on toast. Desperate to harvest his crops because, food is generally a good thing to have, he wrote to the Times newspaper airing his grievances. And what happened? A boycott relief expedition was launched. 57 volunteers, protected by a whopping 900 soldiers, marched in to save his turnips and potatoes. Talk about bringing a whole army to a farm fight. Well, here's the kicker. The rescuers apparently ate Boycott out of house and home and turned his well-tended lawns into a muddy mess. And the cost? A staggering £10,000 to save a harvest worth at most £350. That's like spending ₦1 million to save a bag of sachet water. After 2 weeks, the crops were in, the army was gone, and so were the boycotts, quietly slipping away, even traveling under a different name. So how did boycott become the word? A local priest, brilliant fellow, apparently suggested it. He thought ostracize was too fancy and for the local folks. And just like that, Captain Boycott, who probably just wanted to collect his rents in peace, unwillingly lent his name to a centuries-old tactic. The word even made it into the Oxford English Dictionary. So next time you hear boycott, remember Captain Charles Cunningham Boycott.
Another piece of the puzzle now revealed. Keep questioning, keep listening. Only on Nigeria Info.
95.1 Nigeria Info.
Back to back and back of the biggest talk on your number one station for talk, Nigeria Info. State of the nation.
My life is that politics is not what I major. I'm a trader. So my market, once my market is calm, I sell and go. As long as there's no friction, election can happen.
State of the nation.
And they work very, very hard. If they work very hard, the woman will not, have to go out and work too.
State of the nation.
Before you know anything, you hear chakbum here. Everywhere is chakbum. Go to Borno, chakbum. Go to everywhere, chakbum.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
How can you push my daughter from the table or chair she's sitting down and you just let her fall like that and climb on her back?
State of the nation on 95.1 Nigeria Info.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us again. It's time for another episode of State of the Nation. And today we will be considering the very worrisome topic of food inflation. In fact, it's not just a topic, it's the reality that many Nigerians are having to face. Sometime in October of this year, it was said that food inflation had reached up to 39.16%, and over time we've seen the, inflation going up and coming down. And this, translated into reality, has made food affordability a very difficult one for Nigerians. In fact, in so many instances, people go to the market with what they used to go to before and make good purchases. But these days, it seems to purchase little or close to nothing. And so I want to hear from my usual suspects in the studio what your take is. How has life been treating you guys in terms of this inflation that people are suffering from? Jefferson, your face is looking very down, and is it something that is really hitting hard on you, inflation?
Malere, you mentioned something. you say food inflation.
Yes.
You now mention tax regime. A now person a chop before you go pay tax.